Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Winter has come to Texas. We say winter, but really it's 53 degrees. So, you know, all you people in New York, you're fucked.
What the fuck?
What the hell?
What an asshole.
What? Wow, what a fucking piece of shit this guy is.
I just saw that.
We just got out of Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, the Harry Potter spin-off starring Eddie Redmayne as the Wizarding World's Steve Irwin. He comes to America to look for more magical creatures because he's writing a book. When he shows up in New York, his creatures get out and he's got to go rescue them, all while there's some evil shit going on in the rest of the magical world.
Eddie Redmayne, who played Stephen Hawking in Theory of Everything, won an Academy Award for that performance, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if he tries to bring that performance to every movie he's in, he feels like he's going to get an Academy Award. I honestly felt that he had a mental disorder in this film. No offense to anybody, but he honestly seemed autistic. I'm not trying to say that in a funny way. I'm just saying.
He got some lessons from Ben Affleck.
Oh.
My creatures. Before we go any further, spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about this in detail. Not for long, there's really not much to say. You can skip to our final thoughts and scores out of 6 stars by scrolling to the time code right here. If not, you've been warned. Did it drag on to you? Because it dragged on for me.
I was expecting something, like, and nothing ever came. I honestly didn't feel any soul, any heart in this film. I felt like it was just made to make money, like most movies are these days. I was just coming in, expecting, this is another movie in the Harry Potter Wizarding World, so, well, it should be fine, it should be fun. It didn't feel fun. I felt like I just sat in the theater for 2 hours, watched something, and left.
This isn't based off a book. The book that is called Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them that she wrote, it was like 100 pages of like the actual book. Like, these are the creatures and this is what they're about. This is completely new, a new screenplay by J.K. Rowling. And what this felt like to me was like 2 movies in one. I'd never read Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, but there's a part of it, if I think of that title, that totally fits that. Like, it's really dark, kind of shot like a horror movie at some times, about this demonic-esque, dark, magical entity that's destroying New York, and there's a detective trying to figure out what it is. I thought that could have been cool for like an adult Harry Potter story.
So what we're talking about is called it was an
Obscurus?
Obscurus.
Yeah.
It's where a child of magical powers, keeps it in, bottles it in, and then eventually over time it blows up and becomes this dark entity full of magical powers and destroys shit. And the child dies because it's like a soul gone bad. My question is, how come Harry Potter didn't have that? Obscurity. I don't know if it's because Harry didn't find out he had powers till he was about 10. Was that it?
That's what I'm thinking it is.
Okay.
Ezra Miller plays this orphan that's stuck with this crazy lady who's trying to start a second American witch hunt. She's strict as hell, abusive, beats him with a belt. You later find out in the movie that Ezra Miller has magical powers. And so in this kind of environment where, if she found out he were a wizard, she would have fucking killed him.
Yeah.
It makes sense that he kind of kept it inside and then let it fester into this dark energy, who is being sought out by this inspector, Percival Graves, played by Colin Farrell. There was a point where I thought he was going to turn out to be kind of a spy for the big bad guy, this wizard they're calling Grindelwald. Now, if you've read the Harry Potter books, you know that the fight between Dumbledore and Grindelwald was kind of like as epic as Harry Potter and Voldemort. Rowling said, like, they were friends and potentially lovers at one point. Like, the shit got Magneto and Professor X levels of fucked up. And so you think, or at least I thought, that Percival Graves was gonna try and use Ezra Miller's Obscurus to be that weapon that Grindelwald could use. Also, that subplot of the Obscurus starts as a mystery, like, who could this child be? I knew it was Ezra Miller from the beginning because he's wearing this, like, fucked up bowl cut, all, like, sad and shriveled and shit. And throughout most of the movie, they're trying to convince you that it's the cute little girl with a dress. I'm like, red flag, thy name is Miller. Red flash, thy name is Miller.
So really what we're going to talk about more in this film is the actual subplot, which is the leading on to the next movies in this franchise, which I'm expecting there will be.
Because Warner Brothers has already greenlit 5 movies. 5. Man, if there's one thing that I'll say about Warner Brothers is that they remind me of a prep student with his daddy's credit card. Because they'll just spend absurd amounts of money on stuff that simply will not work. $200 million, nearly $200 million on Legend of Tarzan. $150 million on Pan. They're planning 5 movies of Fantastic Beasts before they even know what they've got. And I think that's a bad move.
I think that they think it's Harry Potter, so people will automatically buy it. Maybe that's true. Maybe they actually have written for the next movie or two, and they know that this movie won't do as well as the next. Maybe they think that the sequels will do better because they will be better. Like Daniel said earlier, I honestly think if they just took that subplot that was in the film and made that into the movie, that would have drawn me in more.
Warner Brothers wants to rush this to capitalize. They want to make this the next Harry Potter. Whenever you watch the first Harry Potter, and that gave you time to live in that world and breathe it and feel it, really understand it, I didn't feel that here.
No, I just felt like, oh, you know what's coming down. You know, here's some cool looking things. Oh, there's some cool looking things. Oh, okay.
There were little hints, like whenever you see the newspaper at the beginning, they do this newspaper montage with every headline is about Grindelwald and what he's doing. I was actually more interested in the other stuff that was going on, like there's a woman selling fake wand permits. I didn't feel like this was a wizarding world. And maybe that's because it's New York and everything moves faster, but I don't know, there was something about this that did feel hollow. David Yates, the director, I think that's the problem. The Harry Potter movies that he directed, they were the darker ones. He was just working with what he had to push that darker story. He wasn't really building a new world. Whereas in this one, he's trying to build from scratch, and just like he failed to do with Legend of Tarzan, there are some parts of this movie that's really goofy, and some parts of this movie that's kind of terrifying. And I don't think those two meet. Instead of a new Harry Potter, if there's anything that Warner Brothers I thought should emulate, it's Star Wars. Because you know how Star Wars has Rogue One, a Star Wars story. This takes place in the universe, but it's a one and done. It'd be nice to see an adult Harry Potter movie mystery. And then it'd also be nice to see sort of a kid-friendly chase with magical creatures across the city. And it'd also be nice to see Dumbledore as a kid, a Marauders prequel, you know, just little stories here and there set in the universe, but it doesn't have to be one giant epic. It's kind of the mistake that the Hobbits films made. I like Eddie Redmayne for what he is. I thought he plays awkward well, and there's a little subplot where they're talking about this girl that he may have liked at Hogwarts. We never get too many details, but we know there's a history there. And whenever he's conveying this sort of subtle pain, you really do feel for him.
One of the main bitch's sisters, I forget her name, but she's blonde. She's good looking.
Queenie?
Queenie.
I love that chick. She's infectious.
She was very flirtatious, and you know, us guys were like, ooh. But
she gave this movie an energy. Like, she kept this thing going.
She did.
I have to tell, like, Dan Fogler as they call it the non-mage. Really, it's a muggle, the guy who doesn't have magic. I liked him as a comic relief. I liked him as a supporting character and sort of an audience proxy. Although, there never was this moment where he just kind of lets loose and say, what magic, what is this? Did you ever notice how well he managed to take all of it?
At first, you know, he was bit by one of the things that was in Newt's suitcase, and you know, and he was acting kind of sick after they found him and stuff, so they were trying to take care of him. And you could tell at first, you know, oh, he was sick, and he might be just thinking, oh, this is a dream. But then he when he gets off that sickness, he takes it very well. It's just like, all right, let's do this. Not like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on?
There are these creatures. I can teleport with this guy. This guy's got a wand. He can shoot spells and shit. Why the fuck not? Let's go for the ride.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that he should have been like, what? What is this? What is that? Tell me everything now. But, you know, something.
At that point, I feel like they would have obliviated him. Like, all right, you're done.
The only one I really didn't like was Catherine Waterston. She was the investigator, sort of the disgraced investigator who was trying to arrest Newt because his creatures escaped the suitcase. There's a bunch of little themes going on here that Newt's very much trying to educate people about the creatures and protect them. He's a conservationist, and everybody else is pretty much like, ah, fuck him. There's definitely a repression subtext, whether that may be sexuality or gender identity, with Ezra Miller's character, because the idea is that Ezra Miller's character has magical powers, but he's not allowed to express them because he's in this restrictive environment that won't support him. It's frowned upon for magical people to be with non-magical people, so...
No, it's against the law.
This is the second movie in a month that deals with, like, fuck it, interracial marriage, I guess. Is magic a race? I don't even fucking know.
Apparently it is.
Miscegenation laws, Jesus.
Apparently it's its own species because of, you know, he was saying, oh, you know, magical and non-magical people are, you know, born differently, and, you know, we have different attributes than you do.
Fuck it, man. All right. I will say that I like the creatures' designs.
Oh, yeah. They were really cool and unique.
Yeah, there's, like, one that looks like Baby Groot mixed with a praying mantis. There's one that's a giant Quetzalcoatl that can shrink into the size to fill up a teacup. There's this fucking platypus mole-looking thing that likes to steal everything. The goddamn kleptomaniac. If you're gonna rent this movie, definitely, you know, pause and just look at all the stuff in the background. It's super imaginative, and I think at one point Newt Scamander was fucking bottle feeding a baby Cthulhu. It's kind of awesome. Really, what's left to talk about is just the very end of the movie. Inspector Graves and Newt going after Ezra Miller, who has gone apeshit and crazy.
Pure obscurus.
Graves wants to capture him and use the power, and Newt wants to calm him down and hopefully save him. Magic cops just come in, and the monster's about to come out and attack again, and they just gun him down. It was like, Ricky! Percival Graves, they say, like, you've violated so many laws, and he tries to get away. Newt captures him, and in the end, you find out that he was Grindelwald in disguise. And Grindelwald is played by none other
than Captain Jack Sparrow.
Johnny Depp. Because Johnny Depp cannot be in a movie unless he's disguised somehow, whether by a weird-ass latex costume or some CGI. That's your sequel bait. You've got Grindelwald in these movies, and he looks kind of like
Malfoy's great-grandfather.
Yeah. He kind of looks like Colonel Sanders did meth for 20 years.
He's got those like white gray eyes,
Yeah.
and his hair's like ghost white.
Johnny Depp is a scary motherfucker.
He is scary, dude.
I still think he's scarier in Black Mass, but that movie is just far better than this.
Damn, I wish we still did. I wish we started doing reviews for Black Mass. That was a great film.
That was a fun movie. Let's watch a double feature of Black Mass and Night at the Museum. If you scroll to the time code, welcome back from the future. Because of battery issues, the original final thoughts for me were scrapped, so I'm just going to do it right now. Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, I think, is a misguided first step in this new expanded Harry Potter universe, full of sequel baiting that doesn't fit with the premise that we were originally sold on. More of a lighthearted search for animals, kind of like a Night at the Museum type thing. This, to me, feels like Warner Brothers trying too hard and too soon to push this new kind of universe out, kind of like Sony did with Spider-Man, before they really even know what they have. And to me, this just feels formulaic in the wrong ways. The tone is wildly inconsistent, and for that, I'm just going to go 2.5 stars out of 6.
I have to agree with Daniel. It felt hollow. It felt not a part of this whole wizardly world. The whole plot of this film was not as interesting as the subplot that led to the other movies, or that will lead to the other movies. Acting was fine. For this subpart alone, I'll give it a 2.5. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked our review, please press the like button down below. Also, if you haven't already, please press the subscribe button so you will find out when new content is out, and you know, we love subscribers. And if you haven't already, we have a Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page. Please go like and follow us on there. With that, I'm Barnyard from HalfKocked, and Man Without a Plan is behind the camera.